Alright, here's a view of the inside of the net wrap area. A little bit full shot here, better shot. Continue talking about this just a little bit and the issues we've seen. Like I said, cleanliness is the big thing back here, and checking that brake. And like I said, a piece of metal was bent, causing that to hit, and it was one thing after the other. Another thing I found wrong with this baler was you can see these shiny bolts here. That one's green. Those two are new, and you can see a hole right here. There's actually a little clip with a nut on it that goes in there, and it was the bolts were gone, the clips were broke, and there was no way to put those clips in once this piece back behind here was welded on. So I actually had to tap and die these out and put new bolts in. Is this whole piece of metal here, which actually holds a roller. See, a roller up here, and it's got the belt, runs up and runs the net, was loose. This bolt was loose. So this whole thing was just jumping up and down. So we went through it, put new bolts in there, checked the rest, tightened that down, made sure the alignment was right, then went through here. It was a whole process. But anyway, that technical manual carried me all through it and whatnot. But anyway, when you load a roll of net wrap in here, this is real simple system. You just lay it in this cradle right here, and with the net coming over the top, and you just drop you some net down in here, and you push this thing back in here, and what you'll have is some net hanging down right here, and you'll just take and wad it up in a little pigtail and stick it between this stainless roller and this rubber roller, and you've got this arm here that will release. I won't release it right now because I'll probably lose the tension there, but you just take this out of its catch and you can pump it up and down, and what it will do is turn these rollers, and it will suck your little pigtail up in there, and you just pull a ½ inch or so of that pigtail up in there, take scissors and cut what's left off, close the door, you're ready to go. Like I said, first time I did it, never failed. Now, we had a 535 baler, had one of the first net wrap systems on it. It was a completely different design. The brake system and whatnot was similar, but the way the net fed in there was a little different, and we had some issues with it. The guy we got it from had not cleaned it, and when we first tried to use it, it was balling up in there and wrapping around everything, and we spent a good afternoon on it figuring it out. Of course, that was my first net wrap baler, and it was a lot to learn, but we finally got it working pretty good. But this one's far superior. This one has not given me any issue. Now watch it start giving me trouble. I just jinxed myself. But anyway, shut the back door here. Another improvement they made to these is, you can see it, they've put some kind of cover over these bolts in the hinge, so debris and trash can't fall in that system. I said cleanliness back there is the key, and they didn't do that on that 535 baler. You can get a little better shot. Like I said, those pieces of metal you see running down to the bottom in there with the belts on top, that's how the net gets carried down in there. The net gets through into those belts, sucked down, and it sucked down between the belts and those pieces of metal. It goes down to that bottom roller, and that roller down in there in the bottom, just above that kicker bar I was showing you, is where I found that bad bearing that melted that piece of plastic. But anyway, it will go down there, wrap around it, and there's the bale. And once it hits that hay, it just sucks it right on up in there. So pretty smooth, pretty good idea. You can see the back side of the pickup and the teeth down there. But anyway, if you're ever removing those guards, it's easier to crawl from the back than the front. I found out, and releasing those bolts for those that are on the pickup. I think I've pretty well covered it. There's a better view of the latch, and there's the sensor, proximity sensor right there that goes back to your monitor, tells you if your gate's latched or not. Boy, it works good. I've pulled up just, I think, twice now before windrow. That thing alarmed, it stop, you know, something ain't right. And it was that latch wasn't closed right, so I just hit my hydraulic lever and it was good to go. But anyway, there's kicker, you can see it. Baler was in real nice shape. I mean, it wasn't scratched up and beat up like a lot of them, you know. A lot of these things, you see this back cover beat up, or they backed them in the shed and hit something, whatever. It's hard to see. I'd like to put me a camera back here and a monitor in the tractor, maybe one of these days, and do that where I can see behind me going down the road. Got a grease alamite here and a little hose running down so you can reach it better. It's nice. Anyway, there's a quick 3-video overview of the baler itself, and a few things I pointed out there for you to think about and maybe look at and check. Still a lot of other things in this baler that could go wrong. Well, there's one too. These pins, I replaced all of them, and the trick to these pins is every year, or maybe even often than that if you're doing a lot of bales, is you open the baler up and get slack in these belts. Put you a pair of pliers or vice grips on the end of this, rotate it and see if the other end's turning. If it ain't, it's broken there. If it's broke, replace it, cause we had 2 belts on this thing, and I think I still got some pieces laying here. There's some. Here's what one of these pins looks like in pieces. You can see the, get too close, you can see the grooves wore in it. They got little grooves in them when you buy them, but that's kind of what catches it and keeps it in there. But those were deep. But we had a couple of these that were so bad that I'd take a Dremel and go in there and grind the thing out, because it would not drive out of the lacing. When they get that wore, whoever let that happen to this baler was, I don't know. You just don't do that. So that took a while. We eventually got all those replaced. Got fresh pins in there, so I don't want to worry about a belt break. A belt coming loose, breaking because of those pins. But anyway, that's about all I can think of. This does have an adjustable pressure here. There's a little valve here you can adjust the bell density. There's your bell density monitor, and that's just a hydraulic gauge actually hooked to that cylinder there that's on that tensioner arm. And you want this thing running about 12 to 2 o'clock, somewhere in there, right about 1 o'clock. And that's a good bale. You know, some people are gonna run them less. They're trying to rip people off, but you want it right there, unless you just want a light bale. But my experience on that 535 baler, I hadn't messed with it on this one. I was just running right, but that 535 was running low, and we had problems with the bale starting because there wasn't enough tension in here on the belts to you know, cause the hay to start rolling inside the baler, and that was a headache. But anyway, there you go. Only thing I got left to go over on this thing is the bell monitor, and we will do a separate video on that and try to go over how it works and some of its functions. It's really nice. But anyway, hope this has been informative and helped somebody out. I learned all this the hard way. So anyway, there you go. See ya.